So this one is RFF homework 1, okay? We're continuing the rest of this. It's starting at number 16. The classwork ended on 15. Okay, so in the last video, I did talk about perpendicular. And perpendicular, what you're going to do with your slope is it's going to be a negative reciprocal. Okay, so perpendicular means that you're going to have a negative reciprocal for your slope. And when I say that, what that means you're going to do is you're going to flip and change the sign. Okay, so flip and change the sign. Okay, let me make that smaller so you guys can see that. So you're going to flip and change the sign. Okay, so in this case, our slope is this 2/3, okay? So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have y is equal to, this is positive, so this is going to be negative. 2/3, when I flip it, is 3/2x plus b. And again, in the last video, I showed us that when you have 0, comma, a number, this is your y-intercept. If I was to sketch it and I go 0, comma, 3, you see I'm on the y-axis. So this is my y-intercept. It is my b, okay? So I just need to put that in. You do not do that if it is not a 0 here, okay? So the only reason I'm just taking that y and sticking it here is because this is a 0, which means it is my y on my y-axis, because I'm not going left or right, I'm just going up 3. On number 17, what is the equation of a line going through 2, comma 4 with a slope of 1/2? Okay, so I'm going to go y is equal to, hold on, get this back. Okay, so y is equal to 1/2 x plus b. Now, I do not come and stick that 4 here. This is not a 0, comma 4. If I was to plot this, okay, on this graph over here, 2, 4. Okay, so 2, comma 4, 2, comma 4, not on the y-axis. It's not a y-intercept, okay? So I'm going to put this 2, comma 4 in for my x and my y to find my b. So 4 is equal to 1/2 times 2 plus b. So I get 4 is equal to, and 1/2 times 2 is 2/2 or 1. Another way to think about this, the 2 here and here, this is going to be on top. This 2 is going to be on bottom. Those are going to make a 1. So I end up with 1 plus b. I subtract 1, I get 3 is equal to b. So my equation is going to be y equal 1/2 x plus 3. That is our equation. Okay, number 18. So on number 18, it's asking us what type of transformation is shown below. And so for this, what I'm doing is, if this is, let's say this one's my original one here. Let me just kind of shade it. Let's say this one's my original one. It doesn't matter. They aren't labeling one as my original. Okay, so let's say this is my original. What am I doing to this one to get this one? I am flipping it over this line. Okay, so that is a flip, which is a reflection. So reflected and you have to be specific, across the y-axis, and I'm going to put in parentheses. The y-axis is the line x equals 0. Okay, this is x equals 0, because everywhere on this line x is 0. So whether you think of this one as the original or this one, I am flipping it across. That is reflection. Okay, number 19. 19, how do you know if there is no solution when solving an equation? So what is going to happen is your variable is, for us at this point, okay, for the equations we're solving, your variable is going to cancel out. And that's not the only part. And you are left with a false statement. So in the last video, we had a situation where we had 2x, but when I worked it out, after I distributed, we had a 2x plus 7 is equal to a 2x plus 8. And here I have a 2x on this side and a 2x on this side. So when I do subtract them, these are going to cancel out, and I'm going to be left with 7 is equal to 8, which is false. So that is no solution. Okay, if this had been 2x plus 8 equal 2x plus 8, and I canceled out, my x's canceled out, and I got 8 equals 8, that is everything's a solution, all real numbers. Okay. Number 20. What is the equation of a line going through 2, 5 and 8, 17? So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find my slope. So I'm going to be doing change of y over change of x. I'm going to make this a little darker. Okay, change of y over change of x. So my x's, my y's, change of y over change of x. My y's, I have a 17 and a 5. I can either do 5 minus 17 or 17 minus 5. I would rather do 17 minus 5. And then on the bottom, since I did 17 from this point, minus 5 from this point, I have to do the same. So I have to do 8 minus 2. And then when I do that on top, I'm going to end up getting 12 over 6, which is 2. So my slope is 2. So now I know I have y equal 2x plus b. And then I'm going to put in either one of these points, either 8, 17 or 2, 5, whichever one you prefer. I am leaning towards 2, 5 just because it's smaller numbers. So when I do that, I'm going to have 5 is equal to 2 times 2 plus b. 5 is equal to 4 plus b. 1 is equal to b. So that means my equation is going to be y equal 2x plus 1. That's my equation. On 21, okay, laws of exponent problem. Okay, so on this, we have this 2x squared being raised to the third, okay? So really it's a 2x squared times a 2x squared times a 2x squared. So my 2 is being raised to the third, and my x to the second is being raised to the third. So I'm going to get 2 to the third, which I'm going to work out here in a second. And then my x squared is being raised to the third, and power to power I multiply, and I get x to the sixth. Okay, now here, everything here is being raised to the second power. So 3 to the second. And then here, my x to the 0 is being raised to the power 2. Power to power I multiply. So I get 0 times 2, which is 0. Now, anything to the power 0 is really equal to 1. So this is really just going to be a 1. So now when I'm doing this, 2 to the third is 8, x to the 6th, and then 3 squared is 9, and that is really just a 1. So when I multiply this together, I get 72 x to the 6th, and that's my answer. On 22, domain. Domain are your x's. What's the furthest to the left? What's the furthest to the right? And if there's any gaps, okay? Now the furthest to the left my graph goes is -3. The furthest to the right it goes is 5, okay? So when I'm thinking about these, I'm thinking about, let me just make this a little thicker. I'm thinking about, again, how far, what's the furthest to the left? What's the furthest, pretend I could draw straight. What's the furthest to the right that the graph goes? Okay, it's going from here to here, and there's no gaps or anything in between. So it's going from -3, where it actually touches -3, it has a point at -3. If that had been an open circle, that would be different, all the way to 5. So the way I'm going to write this answer, my domain, since it is touching here, I'm going to do close bracket, -3, and it also touches here at 5, close bracket 5. Now, if it had been like open circles, that would be an open bracket, which would be a parenthesis. Okay. On 23, another solving for x problem. So I'm going to distribute. Hopefully I'll distribute better this time. Okay, my 3 is going to go to both of those. So this is a 3x and a -6 equals, and then my 5 is going to go to both of those. So that's going to be a 5x plus 20. And then you don't have to, but I'm just going to draw it in to kind of make sure everyone understands. Okay, this is one side, this is the other side. I'm going to first deal with my x's. So I like to do my x's first. Get them on the same side. So 3x and 5x, I'd rather subtract the 3x. And when I subtract 3x, I'm going to get a -6, don't forget your sign, is equal to 2x plus 20. I'm going to minus 20. So -26 is equal to 2x. I'm going to divide by 2. I get -13 is equal to x. And that's your answer. Okay, so 24. On 24. Okay, so on 24, whoops, put it up too high. On 24, what we're doing is we're going to be graphing this line, okay? Now, you could always insert a graph if you want. And when I say graph, I'm not saying we're graphing this on Desmos. That's not what I'm talking about. If you want to insert a blank graph, you can. You can also add with the plus sign down here and get a graph paper. That is an option. I'm just going to sketch this. Okay, so I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is my x-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Y. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so my y-intercept is that 4. So I'm going to start 1, 2, 3, 4. And then my slope is a -2. I'm going to write it over here. So when I say -2 is my slope, that's really -2 over 1. Your top number, always have it, it's always your up or down. If it's negative, we're going to go down. So this is going to be down 2. And then the bottom number, go to the right unless you're running out of space on your graph. Then you go opposite. So top is always up if it's positive, down if it's negative, and bottom, go to the right. So this is going to be right 1. Okay, so I'm going to go down 1, 2, right 1, down 1, 2, right 1, down 1, 2, right 1, and so forth. Okay, and then I'm going to draw my line, and there's my graph. Now my slope is negative, my graph is negative. Okay, so you want to make sure that if you have a negative slope, you don't go down and left. That's actually going to make it be a positive. Okay, so the negative is going to be down, the bottom is going to go right. Okay, number 25. So on 25, f of 100, okay? So what this is saying is into the x, you're going to put in 100 to see what you get out. So f of 100 is equal to 4 times 100 minus 10. This is equal to 400 minus 10, or 390. That's our answer. That's what f of 100 equals. Okay, again, I'm putting in a 100 and I get out a 390. That's my answer. And that's the end of this worksheet. Again, RFF homework number 1. Hopefully this is helpful.